No greater feeling in the world, Michael. We were not any good. I mean, very few people know this. My very first year, the press box was condemned. So we didn't even have a press box. So we basically built two deer stands up at the top of our stadium so our coaches could sit on them. And now 25 years later, you go back, there's a new stadium, there's a new field house, there's a new high school, there's new elementary schools. I don't know if you've been to the town of Gilmer lately. We even have a Starbucks now. Like we're really happening, Michael. And I'm so grateful because that whole staff are all my former players and all my former coaches. Head coach Alan Metzel's a dear friend of mine. He'll be in attendance this weekend. He worked for me all those years. Olin Johnson was my first quarterback in 2000. He coached the wide receivers. Randall Kennedy, I coached him. He coaches receivers as well. I can go on and on about my players that are on that staff. And if they're not my players, they were my assistant coaches. And I'm very grateful. My superintendent, both of them will be there Saturday. Larry Bennett, Dr. Bennett's the one that hired me in 2000, and Rick Albritton is the one that when Dr. Bennett retired that has been there ever since. And for my hometown to be one of the best programs, arguably in the country now, and just to know that I had a small piece in turning that thing around, it's like a Cinderella story, honestly. That's all I ever wanted to do is coach, Michael. I never wanted to do anything else. When I was young at Gilmer, you can read, how you sign your little annual and where you're going to be in 10 years. In my book, I'm going to be the head coach of the Gilmer Buckeyes. I mean, so it's been an unbelievable story. I've been very blessed. I just think it's much deeper in the state of Texas because so many of the men and women that have been influenced by the Texas high school football coaches. When I say men, I mean they probably played for a coach that really changed their lives. When I say women, they probably married somebody that had a high school coach that changed their husband's life, or they had a son that Texas high school football coach changed his life. And it's so much deeper than just the state championships and Jerry's World and Dave Campbell magazine and all the things that we think of that instantly come to our mind about Texas high school football. It's the relationship with that young man to that high school coach that is just so powerful in our state. And it starts because the Texas High School Coaches Association is so well ran, and they're in such partnership with the UIL. That the NCAA, if they would model how Texas does it, our NCAA football would not be near as messed up as it is. Back then in the 80s, Dangerfield and Gladewater kind of dominated Jefferson and Gilmer. We could beat those guys when I was in junior high and high school at the lower levels, but we never could beat them at the high school level. And Dennis Alexander was at Dangerfield, and Jack Murphy was at Gladewater, and Jerry Bennett was at Jefferson, Andy Griffin at White Oak. And those four people, they just ran a program. And they were in contention for a state championship almost every year or winning them. And I just knew I didn't understand why we didn't have the consistency of that. So when I got the job in 2000, everybody knew Gilmer had talent. They just never could be consistent and make deep playoff runs. You might have a year where you jump up and make the playoffs or something, but you just didn't have that. And when I was in the 7th grade, we had a man by the name of Tommy Wagner at Gilmer that actually took us to the state championship game, and we lost to Cameron Yo. So I got a little bit of taste of what that ride was like. I think Coach Wagner left, and pretty much from that time, which was 81, until 2003, which was my 4th season, we didn't have one of those runs. And then since 2003, probably for 22 straight years now, 23 straight years, they've been on one of those runs. And makes me very proud, Michael. We won 6 games my first year, then 8, then 10, then 13, and then we won our first state championship in '04. And I remember my brother coaches my O-line, and I remember hugging him, which we don't do that very often. But I remember him at Stephen F. Austin State hugging him and telling him, we actually did this. Like, we really won a state championship. First one in school history.
Wow.
And it was completely packed. Beautiful day, Humber Bryce Stadium, playing Jasper. We won 49-47. It's one of those, and I've had some unbelievable victories, but that one will always be the most special ones. Well, I think the first thing it's always the players. You've got to figure out what they do well and make sure you adjust your coaching style to what they do well. But I think the thing it prepared me the most for is just the pressure. I thought when I won that first state championship, the pressure was going to be off of me. And that's the very opposite. They expect a state championship every single year. And the UIL and the THSCA have it set up so well that each week you feel like you're playing for your entire city. And the pressure just grows and grows. So round 1, the playoff games aren't quite as attended because everybody's wanting to watch their teams play. Round 2, you pick up a few more fans. Round 3, you pick up a lot of fans. Round 4, all of East Texas is there because it's going to be the 2 best teams in East Texas playing each other. Round 5, you're going to play somebody from either West Texas or South Texas. And then all of East Texas is going to come follow you and watch your team play. And then the state championship game, everybody from East Texas is going to be there cheering for your team because we all kind of just rally together. I tease people. Everybody talks about Joey McGuire having pressure at Texas Tech and me having pressure at UTSA. Trust me, Joey McGuire has been under tons of pressure at Cedar Hill. And Traylor has been under tons of pressure at Gilmer, Texas. When you go to the Booster Club and you got school board members, they want to fire you just like your Board of Regents do and your president and your AD does. It's all the same. We were not having a good year. It was early in the year, and it was about the halfway point. I was struggling so bad at the time. They were just being nice. I was just teasing. And then thankfully our team got hot at the end of the year, and it ended up being something I'm looking forward to. I really didn't want to come down there if we didn't make a bowl and we didn't win a bowl game. So I'm really glad. I'm glad we won a bowl and ended the season hot. That made it a lot better, Mike. You know, I was at Gilmer when Patrick was at White House.
Right.
And, so we would scrimmage White House, and they'd be in our 7-on-7 tournaments. And then when I went to the University of Texas, Patrick was the quarterback at Texas Tech.
That's right.
So I've seen Patrick up and close too much. But I will say I have 3 children, and obviously they know what a huge honor it is for their dad to be put in this Hall of Fame. And but now that they know Mahomes is going in, now my kids are all really excited to be there to see Patrick Mahomes get put in. I'm like, well, what am I? Just chopped liver? So yeah, your point about Patrick going in has definitely raised people's expectations of my 2.5-minute speech will not be as listened to as Patrick's 2.5-minute speech. I bet they let him go a little longer than me, Michael. Well, I worked for Charlie Strong first in Texas. So I went to Austin for a few years.
Okay.
Then SMU. So I got to go to Dallas.
Yep.
Then I went to Arkansas. So I was in Fayetteville. Then I came to San Antonio. So I would say the biggest difference to me in East Texas is almost like you're going back in time 100 years. You know, it's a bunch of small communities that football team is the whole. It's very Friday Night Lights. A lot of lakes, a lot of pine trees, a lot of mosquitoes, tons of humidity. People very much like I was their golden son. Like I was their child pretty much. And my children were the same. And we were, you know, it's not just that way in Gilmer, it's that way in East Texas. Like the head coach and their family are treated like royalty, pretty much, Michael. San Antonio is different. It's just it's a more diversified city. We have the Spurs, and I've been the head coach here now since December 9, 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And these people have treated me the exact same, whether we're winning bowl games, conference championships, or losing heartbreakers at the end of the game. Our fan base is extremely loyal. They're extremely passionate. In the Alamo Dome, we're 29-3, Michael, in 5 seasons. It's
Man.
the third best record in all of college football. We won more games in the state of Texas than anybody since we've been here. And it's because of our fans. I mean, they really are that passionate. We've only been playing football, Michael, going for our 15th season. So
Wow.
I'm going on year 6, and I'm the most tenured coach in the history of the school. And we've only been playing football for 15 seasons.
Yep.
So it's just a really unique spot.
Yep.
The people are just so loyal. I mean, they love the Road Runners. They love the Spurs. And
That's right.
it's just been a real blessing to get to be and know the people of San Antonio. It's been a blast. I wish I would have enjoyed the process and not worried so much. I came from probably nothing, honestly, Michael. I started at Big Sandy, where I was teaching 4 different classes, 4 different prep. I was the offensive coordinator. I was the head basketball coach, assistant baseball, and I had tennis. And I loved every second of it. Those 4 of the best years of my life. And then when Danny Long hired me at Jacksonville, we got to coach those McAllen kids. And it's just been a real rat race. I raised 3 children. Carrie and I have been married and on this journey the entire way. And I wish I would have just trusted my faith more and not been so consumed with worry. But when you got 3 young babies and they're moving from Jacksonville to Gilmer, and you're taking a pay cut to become a head coach, you're just trying to raise children. You're just trying to pay your bills, and you're just trying to live each month. And I wish I would have enjoyed the process more. I really tried to do that as I've gotten older. And it's funny because that's like what everybody says now. It's trust the process,
Right.
Win the day. Like that's all of our culture pillars. And I wish I would have listened to myself and lived that more instead of, the Bible verse, worry about nothing, pray about everything. Tell God what your desires are and thank Him for what you have. And when you do, there's a peace beyond understanding. And I wish I would have lived that better, Michael. And I really tried to do better at that as I've gotten older.